Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, August 11th, 2014 meeting of the Lewis County Board of County Commissioners. We have a quorum. There are two of us here. Bill Schulte is still on vacation. And we will begin with the flag salute led by Commissioner Fun. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. I move that we approve the minutes of August 4th, 2014.
I will second. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions, changes? Okay, I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Public comment?
Ron, we have public comment. Ron Averill.
Do you want to do the proclamation
You want to do the
first?
proclamation first? Okay, we will yield to the proclamation. Go ahead.
I move that we approve the proclamation honoring the 2014 Southwest Washington Fair Little Miss Friendly program.
I'll second that. So would you read that into the record, please?
Yes. Before the Board of County Commissioners, Lewis County, Washington, proclamation honoring the 2014 Southwest Washington Fair Little Miss Friendly program. Whereas the annual Southwest Washington Fair has been selecting since 1968 Little Miss Friendly, the official hostess and living logo of the fair. And whereas the first day during opening ceremonies of the 2014 Southwest Washington Fair, Little Miss Friendly will be announced from 5 finalists who are between the ages of 8 through 10. And whereas the current 2013 Little Miss Friendly, Michaela Mankey, will be turning her cape to one of the following finalists: Amanda Brossard, Chehalis; Cammie Aldrich, Chehalis; Brianna Crosby, Chehalis; Aubrey Morey, Centralia; and Ava Meller, Chehalis. And whereas the 2014 Little Miss Friendly will be the 47th Southwest Washington Fair Ambassador. And whereas the Little Miss Friendly will be attending 6 days of the fair and many community events throughout the year representing the fair until the 2015 fair opening ceremonies. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the Lewis County Board of County Commissioners want to congratulate the 5 finalists, the current Little Miss Friendly, and the Little Miss Friendly program, done in open session this 11th day of August, 2014. Would you girls like to come to the podium?
I would just like to comment. I think it bears well for Lewis County to have Little Miss Friendly instead of some of the other fairs have representatives of their fairs which are animals of some degree or another. So I think it's a pleasure to have you girls instead of some animal representing us at the fair. Thank you.
All right. Would you say your name? And I'm going to ask you a question. What's been your most favorite thing to do in your reign of Little Miss Friendly?
Probably hanging at the fair the whole week and parades.
What was your name?
Oh, my name is Michaela Minke.
Thank you. Next. Tell me your name and we'll ask you a question.
My name is Brianna Crosby.
And what's your favorite ride at the parade or at the fair?
The Super Shot. Hi, my name's Ava Meller.
Eva, what's your favorite food at the fair?
My favorite food at the fair is elephant ears.
I figured as much.
Hi, I'm Amanda Brossard.
Amanda, what's your most favorite thing to do at the fair?
My favorite thing to do at the fair would probably look at the animals.
Hi everybody, my name is Aubrey Morey.
Aubrey, how many fairs have you attended?
Probably one.
You say more than 10, you're in trouble. You know?
Thank you.
I'm Cammie Aldrich.
Can you tell us what has been the most favorite entertainment you've ever watched at the fair?
I like watching the bull races.
I like the diaper derby myself.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
And we will see you Tuesday night.
Let's
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, that's right.
go ahead and pass the proclamation. So that's the proclamation. All in favor of the motion to approve the proclamation, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Girls, you need to come back up.
We're going to give you the own personal proclamation.
Thank you, girls.
Probably the cutest picture we'll take all year. The prettiest. I move that we approve the notice of hearing. You're going to give Mr. Oh, yes, public comment. We moved you, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah, I think we need to recognize the Menke family. This is the first time we've had back-to-back Little Miss Friendlies from one family, and I'm sure that you're really looking for this 2 years to be over. But yeah, I know it has, but it's a lot of work.
Thank you.
We want to thank you and your family for your contributions to the fair, and to all the Little Miss
I appreciate the fact that they like parades because, man, they just beat me up, quite honestly. The parades just are I'm so tired after a parade that I just want to go home and go to bed.
I see you got that car of yours out to Morton there on Saturday.
I got the car finally going again. Still leaks a little bit of gas, but it's acceptable.
I wanted to come to you this morning because on Friday we had our bi-monthly meeting of the Board of Governors of the Timberland Regional Support Network. And for those of you who don't know, the Timberlands Regional Support Network consists of Lewis, Pacific, and Wahkiakum counties, and it handles mental health dollars for the providers in those 3 counties. And the board appointed me to sit on the Board of Governors for them. There were several things that happened at our meeting that I think are important, and the reason I wanted to provide a report to you this morning. The first of those is that we had 2 new contracts from DBHR of DSHS, resulting in a net loss of $95,000 in mental health funding. Fortunately, there have been funds from other sources that have made up that difference, and our financial people tell us that we're well ahead of our budget expectations. So we don't expect that in Lewis County that we'll see any diminution of our services because of this particular loss in this one fund that we used. We also approved a provider contract to Cascade Mental Health Center, which is effective August 15th, and that will increase the Cascade's funding by $117,000 through August or through 2015, the end of June of 2015. And that's predominantly for youth services, but it does include some other areas. We have 4 employees of TRSN, and we're starting our budget cycle, and the board agreed to approve a cost of living increase for our 4 employees of 2.7%. We also approved a personal services contract with Sherry McDonald, and I think
Lee, you probably remember Sherry when she was the Director of Public Health and Social Services up in Thurston County. Since then, she's been providing consulting services, and she even provided services to the Pacific Workforce Group when we were doing that. So she's very good, and I think her selection to facilitate the new BHO organization for our 5 counties was an absolutely outstanding choice. In order to provide her funding for that, TRSN agreed to underwrite the cost, which is about $16,500 that we've committed to, and we will. Timberland's not going to pay all of that cost. We're underwriting it, but it does provide the share for Lewis, Pacific, and Wahkiakum County, which is about $8,000. The rest of it is going to come from Grays Harbor County and Cowlitz County. They'll reimburse TRSN. We discussed the Supreme Court decision on temporary beds that has made the paper, and I would recommend that, and you might want to look at this morning's Olympian. There was an article in there on specifically what Western might do, since they're have been reducing beds, and the Supreme Court's made it pretty clear that we cannot put people with mental health problems in temporary beds and not provide them services. So that's certainly going to create some groundswell of decisions that have to be made on both part of the state and the legislature when they come to the next session. We don't anticipate a huge problem in TRSN, primarily because we don't have any beds to begin with. We contract out all of ours. However, it may make it more difficult for us to contract. And as I say, the legislature is obviously going to have to address this issue. The area where we probably spent the largest time is the reorganization of the services for both mental health and chemical dependency. And we've already made the decision that the area that Lewis County will be in will include the current members of TRSN plus Grays Harbor and Cowlitz County. And Sherry's job is to help this group put together how we go about that reorganization in the areas that we have. In the first couple of meetings, there was a little bit of tension that developed, and as I researched it, it was predominantly a concern on the part of the chemical dependency folks that we were using the base of organization of the RSNs for the organization, and there was their concern that somehow RSN would drive the reorganization. So we did give some guidance to our administrator, Brian Cameron, because he's participating in that process for us, and essentially that we wanted Brian to participate in the process of preparing the detailed plan for the BHO and to represent our RSN on mental health discussions. He's also been selected in the larger committee to help with financing of the CD side, because Brian used to be our financial officer, and he's got a huge amount of experience in that area, so he's participating in that. There was a concern because of the various groups that are participating in this process, which are predominantly the RSNs on the mental health side, the directors of public health and social services for the 5 counties, and some chemical dependency folks that are participating in this process. And there was a concern of mixed messages getting back to the county commissioners as this process developed. And I will admit that there was some interest on the part of a couple of our commissioners that the best way to go was to have a RSN take it over and everybody just jump on that thing. And I walked them through the legislation on what it was really intended to do. That the RSN indeed was the base for the geographical area, but not for the final organization. And that we needed to look at the legislation, and that we're currently in a process whereby we know what our geographical area is going to be, but now we have to do the other things. And part of that, as I pointed out to them, is dependent on what happens to the legislative committee and in terms of how we're going to approach pieces of this, predominantly chemical dependency, which is the hardest part. And that our knowledge and capabilities in mental health should not be driving the decisions on chemical dependency. So those reports will be coming back to you through, I presume, your representative, which is Danette, and not from RSM. We do want the administrator to keep the board advised of what is happening on a monthly or as needed basis in terms of the mental health piece of that pie. We've made it clear to Brian that he's a member of the board, he's not running it, and he's not, and he had some concerns there that people were looking for him to run it, and we said that no, this is not it. Let Sherry do the job of facilitating, and we will get there.
The roles have been defined, so everyone knows what they're.
Yeah, all their roles have been defined. But the only thing, I was kind of hoping that Danette would be here this morning. The one area that I am concerned about is that there are decisions that have to be made by the higher group before the BHOs do them. And one of the reasons that Cowlitz left the Southwest RSN was because they decided to go ahead and form an HMO organization well ahead of decisions being completed. And they were concerned about that. And so I think that we need to caution folks to not get ahead of the train, to look at the legislation and look at the guidance that's coming on how we're going to move from one step to the next. We did, however, also approve, because of Cowlitz coming out of the Southwest RSN and eventually moving over to ours, to allow our legal counsel and our administrator to work with Cowlitz mental health people on their joining our Timberland RSN early. And we're looking at by June, the end of June of 2015, that they would move over, providing that they bring the money that they had at Southwest with them. So we will be doing that, but that's outside of the BHO organization. That's just on the mental health side and what that turns out to be. So those things are the predominant things that happened at our meeting, and I thought it was important to let you all know that. Our next meeting of the governing board will be in October. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. Thanks.
I'd like to move the notice of hearing, resolution number 14-230, regarding a non-exclusive franchise to Cascade Networks Incorporated to construct, operate, and maintain telecommunication facilities on road rights-of-way in Lewis County. The hearing will be held on or after 10 a.m. on Monday, September 8th.
Second motion. All right.
Larry Anselmo speaking to item 2, resolution 14-230. Lewis County Code 12.20 and RCW 36.55 both require that all utility installations on county road rights-of-way be authorized by a franchise. An application for franchise renewal has been received from Cascade Networks Incorporated, which would allow them to construct, operate, and maintain telecommunication facilities on, under, and across road rights-of-way in Lewis County. Their first application was about 5 years ago, and that franchise is scheduled to end this month. This resolution would set September 8th, 2014, at or after the hour of 10 a.m. as the time and place for the hearing on this franchise request. The resolution also instructs the clerk of the board to proceed with all the necessary notifications pursuant to RCW 36.55.040.
Questions? Thank you, Larry. Any questions or comments on the Lewis agenda? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I move that we approve the consent agenda, items 3 through 5, resolution number 14-231 through 233.
Second, resolution number 14-231, item number 3 is the approval of warrants for the week. There are 92 regular warrants to be approved in the amount of $293,380.08. In addition, there are 225 payroll warrants and 449 automatic deposits dated August 5th for a total payment against the county of $3,407,345.99. Okay. Item number 4 is a resolution approving a grant agreement with the Onalaska Alliance, approving 0.09 money to be used for economic development. Each year, the Distressed Counties Fund, or the .09 Fund, designates $100,000 to be used in some tourist-related activity, economic development activity. This particular application is to aid in the boat launch facility at Carlisle Lake in Alaska. We've previously done some paving work out there, and they're working towards improving that site to attract more visitors there and attract more revenue into the Alaska community. And so this grant is for, I believe, $90,000 to aid them in putting together their boat launch facility on Carlisle Lake. That's what this is for.
Good morning, Bill Wamsley with the Lewis County Weed Control Board, speaking on item number 5, resolution number 14-233 for the appointment of a member to the Lewis County Noxious Weed Control Board. So the Lewis County Weed Board has a vacancy on its 5-member board representing District 5. Bob Taylor is the current member there and expressed a willingness to serve again. We made a notice of the vacancy and put that in the paper. We didn't have any other members step forward or public step forward to serve. But Bob Taylor said that he would again take that position. So we District 1 represents the communities of PL, Doty, Dryad, Curtis, and Adna. So we look forward to seeing Bob back on the board and helping us out, and a good member to the board.
He must be doing a great job because it's such a highly competitive position.
Yes, right. Well paid as well. And a bit noxious.
A bit nice.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. Any other comments on the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote on the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Seeing no further business on our agenda, I move that we adjourn.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.